thing.
Yeah, man. Like, combat sports are fucked.
Yeah, really. Like, it's so fucked.
Speaking of combat sports, I know this is Kyle's favorite subject on the show. How are you feeling about your Penguins so far this year? I know you're a huge hockey fan.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, you. No. I was making fun because Kyle hates
uptown.
hockey.
We're going Brady Bunch style. Am I going uptown or? No, I think the Penguins are. They're so banged up. They're like lost most man to injury, kind of like in all the NHL. And Mike Sullivan has gotten this core of like young kids and like these Band-Aid kind of Penguins to come in, and for some reason or another, they are winning. They're using their speed, their youth, and I don't think they have anything to lose. So it's kind of nice to see that with Crosby out. Literally since the beginning of the season, they've been playing without two lines.
Yeah.
So it's pretty wild. I love the perseverance, but I think it always starts from the top down. I think Lemieux is such a great precedent in terms of winning that it's kind of bleeded down. So I'm a huge fan. But your Blues, you got to be happy with what you guys have done.
Oh, super happy with them winning the cup. I was so drunk at that parade downtown. Yeah. It was a blast. Everybody, not as drunk as Brett Hull. Nobody was as drunk as Brett Hull. No. I keep meaning to buy one. I want to buy a "We Went Blues" shirt because he got wasted on like front of the whole city of St. Louis, and because he dodged his handlers and he yelled, "We went Blues" instead of "Let's go Blues." And he's like, we already went. We don't have to go again. We went.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Yeah, I am. And it's like, you fucking scored like 750 goals in the NHL and you're this wasted. He is fat now, but I'm happy with how the Blues are doing this season. We were on a really nice tear. We've lost the last three, the first of which was, I think, to the Penguins, but that was only a matter of time. We're playing without like four of our best players, including Tarasenko.
But until the All-Star break, nothing really matters. I mean, it's all just trying to lobby and stay within playoff standing, but it'll kick in.
Right. That guy, that new goalie for Pittsburgh, who's been playing instead of Murray, I think he got Jury. He's been incredible. I watched some of the game, the Blues versus Penguins. I was busy, so I couldn't watch it all, but he looked excellent. So
he's great. Yeah, he broke the record for most shutout periods or length of time. So I think nowadays in the NHL, the workload's so extravagant that I think that Jari and Murray are going to share it, just like Murray and Fleury did.
Yeah. Yeah, Penguins have been very fortunate with their young goalies. That is rare to happen. It wasn't Murray the first goalie he didn't play a single regular season game in 2016 and only played the playoffs, won the Stanley Cup. Then after he won the Stanley Cup, he played his rookie season and then won the Stanley Cup again. And so he was the first player, I think, in NHL history to have played one regular season and have won 2 Stanley Cups.
He peaked at 16.
Yeah, he really did.
He peaked at 16. Yeah.
How do you keep wanting to work hard if you're like, that record's not getting broke ever? Like,
I did it.
How are you going to do that? But that's good.
How many people are allowed on the roster? I was just wondering, like in hockey, are there guys in the NFL, for example, there are guys who like just sat on the bench the whole year, but they got the ring, and
is it 22? Is that how many people?
It's I think it's 20. That there's a little wiggle room there, like, but usually you ice 2 goalies, 6 defensemen, maybe a 7th, and then 12 forwards.
It doesn't sound like there's a lot of room for like you. Like
no.
They couldn't be like, hey, this Taylor guy's a big fan. I mean, look at his wardrobe. Need I say more?
Look at the only thing in his
let's get him on the roster, boys. Come on.
Yeah. Well, that girl who had cancer, or maybe it wasn't cancer, some horrible disease that the Blues were. It was a little girl, Layla, that the Blues were bringing around through the whole playoffs, and she got a ring because apparently the thing is they can make as many rings as they want. What's really limited is whose name can be on the Stanley Cup. Like you have to play a certain amount of, because like unlike the NFL, I guess, like the big trophy isn't the ring in hockey; it's having your name on the cup. Really? And so if you only play you have to play a minimum number of regular season or playoff games combined in order to qualify.
Yeah, there are guys that have been on the ice that were at that game that won the cup that their name isn't on the cup.
Yeah.
That's
because they'll be like, well, you only played 4 games and this thing's only got so much space.
So you're telling me
unlimited space.
Well, I
Well,
guess fair enough.
It wouldn't be unlimited though. Like maybe I'm
Because they change the
confused.
rings out. Yeah.
They literally engrave the cup, right?
So what happens
Yeah.
is the cup has like 5 rings, and then when it fills, they retire a ring, put it in the Hall of Fame, and add a new one.
Oh,
Yeah. And there's like it's like I think the oldest trophy in the 4 major sports by a good bit. It's been around forever. And there have been years like, I don't know, like people who won it in like the 40s where they're like, we don't know where the O is to stamp people's names on, so we're going to use a Q. And so, like, literally, it'll be like Stanley Cup champions, Montreal Canadiens, 1942. And it'll just be like Oscar, whatever. And the O will be a Q because they just didn't want to look around.
I wish I had the lore exactly right, but I think it was one of the Oilers players. They partied with the cup too hard, and they dented it, and like it was damaged. So they took it to an automobile repair. Like they went to Mako and like dentless paint repair.
Yeah.
And they fixed the cup.
Taking it out. That's so funny. Yeah. My buddy Dave Bolin, he played for the Blackhawks.
Awesome.
And
Not Blackhawks part, but
he told me this story. He was, every player gets the cup for a day, and Dave was the only one that still lived in Chicago. And I lived in Chicago for a bit. That's how I got to know him. And he would stay for the summers in Chicago. So he has the cup, and he gets a call from the president, from Rocky Wirtz, and like 2 other higher ups at the Blackhawks. They go, listen, whatever you do not take the Stanley Cup to Wrigley Field. You are not allowed to take it to Wrigley Field. Well, he's drinking. It's a day game, and he doesn't go to Wrigley Field, but he goes to those bleachers, the rooftop bleachers across from Wrigley Field, and he's partying with the cup. So now everybody at the game is not paying attention to the game. They're all looking at Dave, and Dave's holding the cup up, and the place is going crazy. And next thing you know, a swarm of people came over to that rooftop bar, and so Dave had to get police escort out of Wrigleyville that day. And there's video of it, of him like walking through the streets because it was the first one. And then he also told me that he was on his rooftop of his brownstone, and there was like a little shack between his brownstone and the other one. And him and his buddy were up on, screaming at the city of Chicago, and so drunk it fell over. It got wedged in between the 2 buildings and stuck there, and they had to pull it out.
Come on, like you would think that like if you're responsible for this thing, you'd just be like, hey, you're doing crazy with it. No, I'm gonna sit it next to my fucking couch, and you can come look at it.
The responsible nature of 24-year-old professional athletes. I'm too surprised and disappointed, Kyle.
You just see.
They make
what
me
would they
nervous
do?
the way they
How much
handle it.
trouble would you be in if you like?
None.
Let's say you lost it.
That's happened.
Let's let's say it wasn't recovered.
Oh, see that people might turn against you for. But this other stuff, stuck in a building, mobbed by a crowd, dented, like we need to get a deep sea diver, like that kind of stuff just adds to your legend.
I think Ovechkin literally just set the cup down on a public fountain in DC and then took his shirt off and started swimming in the fountain. And everybody was stoked on it. They're like, he's having a great time.
There's a handler. There's a handler that wears white gloves and doesn't touch...
That goofy blonde guy with the
he doesn't touch the cup with like greasy fingers. He wears white gloves and treats it in a certain way. And then the players are like pissing in it. It's hilarious.
It's the greatest sport. It's the greatest trophy in all sports. Like the cup looks like something you want to win. Like the Lombardi Trophy looks like a sales award, like you'd get if you sold those Marriott timeshares. It's awful looking. And MLB is just a bunch of flags. NBA, same thing, right? It's just the ball and like.
They need to step up their trophy game. Yeah, the Stanley Cup, way less popular than the NFL or NBA, but
better trophy. Yeah, they should just copy the cup. Just give it up on your dumb sales award and try something better.
Phil Pritchard. Yeah, this guy has been full-time guarding the cup for what looks like 35 years.
That's a big ass trophy.
Yeah, I stopped parting my hair in the middle in 8th grade when I learned like, oh, I want to get laid. I put a curly one on the soap. There's girls out there in the world. This dude is still rocking that feathered right down the middle, totally 80s. Like he looks like he manages a Chippendales in Florida.
Yeah.
So bad.
He has so many Tommy Bahama shirts.
22 years he's been watching the Cup.
Wow.
That's a
I
good
bet
Well,
you-
boys, I got to bounce here.